that helps.
Jack, that certainly is easier. Okay, so let's get started. I'll once again keep time, and if it looks like it's gonna run over, I'll let you know. All right,
Right.
bye-bye. Or make your presentation.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm Pratiyapong or you can just call me Gak. I know that it's very difficult to pronounce. So today I will give micro teaching on the introduction of three-dimensional learning. So what I would like to set the scenario for all of you. So basically this PD is designed for pre-service teachers in science and mathematics education. And these pre-service teachers are going to take teaching position as interns in SI schools in the following semesters. And this is on the very first meeting of the PD. And after the introduction of the program, I am planning to deliver this introduction of three-dimensional learning to them. Okay, so guys, what we are going to do in this 30-minute session, the first one, we are going to discuss about the significant shift of learning goals. According to PISA, I will tell you in more detail later. And then after we discuss about the significant shift or necessary shift that we probably have to lean towards, we are going to discuss about three components of three-dimensional learning. And then in the end, after we get our head around about the key components and their significance, we are going to end our discussion on essential elements that help teachers facilitate three-dimensional learning in classroom. Okay, so for all of you who are here, just feel free to participate as you are, or you can imagine yourself as our postgraduate students who are pre-service teachers. And the only thing that I need from you, apart from attention though, is to get your Zoom chat ready for our discussion. So let me begin by bringing this not very pleasant news. I think we have been talking a lot and it raised our concerns about the PISA performance of our children. So as you can see from the graph here, Thailand has experienced a gradual decline in student performance in the PISA over the 2 decades. Not only in science, we also see the same trend in reading, in mathematics. But as science and mathematics teachers, I would like to draw your attention to the declining trend of the way our students perform in the test. So after knowing the test, what we have been informed by an education scholar of the country is that one of the key reasons is our emphasis on rote teaching, rote memorization of learning. And the focus is primarily on taking exams and proceeding to higher level. But our educational system doesn't really focus on uplifting students' analytical skills and practical application of knowledge in everyday life, which is the key focus of the PISA assessment. So Mr. Sompong has told us that we need to reform the learning curriculum by promoting the ability of our students or their competency to apply the knowledge in order to solve problems as well as to enhance their analytical and planning skills. Later on, we have been told by the media that the Minister of Education has the goal for PISA 2025, that is for Thai students to improve their score so that the rankings of the country can increase. However, the approach is left untold. So what I would like to start today is for us to get our head to think about what we can do in order to equip our students, in order to help them develop the skills and competencies needed, not just only for the PISA assessment, of course, but for them to be able to improve their skills that can be useful in their life as the citizen of the 21st century. So I would like you to take some time to have a think, probably 1 minute, and to type in the chat in the Zoom. So as science and math teacher or future teacher, what changes? Here's the key question. What changes do you think we should bring into our classroom in order to equip our students for necessary skills and competency? So I will put my my timer, and we'll count down for 1 minute. Right, I start seeing responses, and I will read out loud. Thanks for participating. Oh, right. Feel free to type the idea. So you may want to think of your country as well if your country has encountered a similar trend. So what changes do you think that science and mathematics teacher can bring in the classroom in order to help students develop necessary skills and competencies, which is the primary goal. And of course, the secondary goal is to improve the performance in the PISA test. Right, students need to apply important ideas to solve problems. Thank you very much. We need to change student tasks to be more challenging and require more critical thinking. Thank you very much for the contribution. Right. Okay, thank you very much. Changing the mindset of the teacher. This is very important. Changing the mindset of the teacher from fixed mindset to growth mindset. Problem solving based learning. All right, the time is up, but we get, a great number of ideas. So problem solving, critical thinking, and students need to know how to do science. Okay, so you can take, some time after the discussion to read through the chat. I think all of the ideas are very helpful. Right, so let me continue with my own belief. I would like to use this analogy to display what I think. I think one possible change that we need to bring into classroom, it is like, when me, who is living in Bangkok, and I would like to go to, the nice beach in Pattaya, which takes only, an hour and a half to drive. So I think if my goal is to go to Pattaya from Bangkok, I can easily drive and takes only, 1 hour and a half. But if I change my goal, and my goal is, to go further, for example, to go to Indonesia, to go to Kazakhstan, to go to Cambodia, to go to Malaysia, or to go to the US. I think if I change the goal, it is, a requirement for me to change or to transform the means as well. So this is, the analogy that I would like to start. If we would like to, get positive results from the PISA assessment, would like to improve our students' skill in problem solving, critical thinking, and have competency in science. We can't just, remain in our comfort zone using our existing learning goals. But the analogy urges me to think that we need to shift the focus of the learning goal. Shifting from learning about proven facts, provided or written in textbook, to figuring out and developing knowledge in use. So this term was introduced to me by Professor Joe. Knowledge in use, what does it mean? In those who possess knowledge in use, basically display their ability to apply scientific knowledge and practices to provide solution to complex problems and to explain real-world phenomena with appropriate scientific ideas. And if they don't yet have, a set of explanation, they can find out ways to learn more, way to figure out evidence in order to support their idea. So based on this, the goal that PISA set for students to achieve is significantly different from the learning goals that our science standard set. So at least 3 main areas that we need to shift our focus to. The first one is for our students to be able to explain phenomena scientifically. The second one is for our students to be able to construct and evaluate designs for scientific inquiry and interpret scientific data and evidence critically. And then the third one, research, evaluate, and use scientific information for decision-making and action. So the competency is not only being able to explain stuff in the textbook, but it is for them to be able to construct an explanation, to acquire for knowledge, and to be able to make decisions based on scientific information. So let me begin. How are we going to do? How this transformation can occur? So I would like to begin by drawing your attention to changing our existing learning goals. Okay, so what I have provided here on the screen, on the left-hand side, I put the learning goals or learning outcomes for middle school students who are in their ninth grade and learning about genetic inheritance. So these three learning sets come from IPST, which is the organization that produces, standard science textbook in Thailand. So what is stated in the IPST science textbook is say that for a student in this particular grade to observe and explain characteristics of chromosome that contain genes in the nucleus. The second one is to explain the importance of genetic material and the process of transmitting genetic traits. And the third one is for students to discuss genetic diseases caused by abnormalities of genes and chromosome and apply knowledge beneficially. Now, I would like to shift the focus to the right-hand side, which is the set of learning goals from NGSS, and they take this one from Health in Our Hands. So the learning sets are rather different. The first one is to use an argument supported by evidence for how the body is a system of interacting, subsystem composed of groups of cells. The second one is construct a scientific explanation based on evidence. And the third one, to develop a use model to describe, the phenomena. So I know you can, read, the stuff on the screen. My question is to get you to think and type in the chat again. This is the second time for asking for your participation. So can you share your thought or your observations of the differences between these two sets of learning goals? I just want to remind you again, these learning goals are set for the same level of student group and also to deliver more or less similar content, which is based on genetic inheritance. Maybe you can type, few keywords, differences that you can spot, or the differences that how the two set of learning goals are structured. Again, maybe half an hour, half a minute, 30 seconds for me to count down, and then we can do some further thinking. Right. So the
May I
idea.
speak up?
Oh, yes.
Just,
Okay.
I think on first learning outcome, they just asking the observation and explanation, and the second, they're more needing the evidence or evidence-based explanation, probably.
Right. Thank you very much for your verbal summary. And also from the chat as well, IPST focuses on recalling knowledge, while NGSS focus on evidence and explanation. I think very similar explanation. IPST is expressed in the terms of performance, which is good, but NGSS seem more specific. Right. Continue to read a few more. I feel like the blue ones, the blue side provide more student thinking, more evidence-based. Okay, thank you very much for all contribution that you have made. Really appreciated that. Right, I totally agree. I totally agree with your identification of the differences. I think both are great to serve different goals. So I probably don't claim one is better than the other, but it depends on which goals that we are going to move forward to. Are we going to go to Pattaya, or are we going to fly to another country abroad? So based on this, so I would like to point out what I see as the key differences between the two. Right, on the left-hand side, the red one, or the one from IPST Thailand, as you can see what I highlight here. So the verb here are performance-based, and in each of the learning goals, it contains, actionable verb. so that we know how to assess student in particular. And as you can see from the orange ones, which are the key contents that are to be learned by students in this learning set. But if you turn to the one on the right-hand side, so what we can see from the one on the right-hand side, I think we can see three key elements that exist in this learning performance or learning goals. So the first one, I would like to draw your attention to the blue letters. So what are they, the blue letters? So the blue letters, I would like to represent here as scientific practices, which is one of the key elements of three-dimensional learning. So what are they? It is for students to use argument supported by evidence, or it is for a student to construct scientific explanation based on evidence, or it is for a student to develop and use a model to describe the phenomena. So the first one is to do with scientific practices. And then these scientific practices is for students to display what they understand or comprehend about core disciplinary ideas. And I would like to turn your attention to the orange words that is, to do with the body, the group of cells within the body, the environmental and genetic factors, and the growth of organisms. And of course, the last one is to do with reproduction and variation. Now, the interaction of these ideas would bring about the third element, which is cross-cutting concepts. Cross-cutting concepts are concepts that occur in phenomena in various disciplines. And, it's the way that scientists see the relationship of, things in the phenomena. As you can see from the green letter, like the first one is to do with a system or subsystem. Or the second one is to do with how one factor influences another factor. Similar to the third one, it is for one factor to result in another factor. So as you can see from these three levels, these three levels form what is called three-dimensional learning, or 3DL, consisting of core ideas or the content, big ideas. The second one is scientific and engineering practices. And the third one is cross-cutting concept. So three-dimensional learning, pull all of this together in a performance expectation or in a learning goal. And the aim for three-dimensional learning is to provide, more holistic understanding of science, which reflects how science is practiced and experienced in the real world. Okay, so let me explain this in greater detail, but very quickly. The first one, I would like to draw your attention to the core disciplinary ideas. So what are the core disciplinary ideas? Basically, they are fundamental ideas that are essential to understand, scientific discipline, and normally organized into four major domains like physical science, life science, earth and space science, and the application of science. The only point that I would like to emphasize is that, of course, scientific ideas are important, but they are not enough. That's why we need, the second element, which is scientific and engineering practices for students to learn the nature of science, learn how scientists develop, their knowledge. This, provide multiple ways of knowing and doing that scientists and engineers use to study the natural world, or for engineers to design, solutions. According to NGSS, this can be divided into 8 aspects, but these, can relate to each other. For example, asking questions for science and defining problems for engineers, developing and using models, planning and carrying out investigation, analyzing, interpreting data, using mathematics and computational thinking to explain stuff, constructing explanation for science, designing solutions for engineer, and engaging in argument from evidence. This is, a very important key that we have been talking about. And the last one is obtaining, evaluating, and communicating information. So basically, the blue ones is to do with, scientific and engineering practices, ways that scientists scientists and engineering know and do things. And the last one, cross-cutting concepts. This concept is pretty new. It may take some time to learn and discuss. Of course, we will have another section to talk about this, but to introduce, cross-cutting concept, it is the ideas that cut across and are important in all, science disciplines. And this is the way that provide different lens for scientists to examine phenomena. Sometimes when scientists, exposed to the phenomena, they look for patterns that occur. They look for cause and effect, and this happens a lot in science classroom. They sometimes look for structure and function, and sometimes they look from, the perspective of scale, proportion, and quantity. Sometimes they try to understand, system and system models, energy matter, and stability and change. So these are cross-cutting concepts that in every science discipline or in the phenomena, this recur and share similarity in any phenomena that we are talking about. So just before we do a landing, I would like you to apply a bit of your understanding of three-dimensional learning to help our national curriculum to revise their existing learning goals. So I do the first analysis, that is to point out limitations of another set of learning goals. So basically, this one is for grade 7 or 8 middle school students to study about acid-base solution. Again, in our national curriculum, we talk about the definition of acid-base solution, to conduct an experiment to explain acidic and basic properties of solution, and to test pH of solution and apply the knowledge. So what is actually lacking in this set of learning goals? The first one, it lacks the meaningful context. The second one, it lacks coherence. So, little can be seen from the connection between these three sets of learning. And of course, it lacks the engagement in 3D learning. It lacks, scientific practices, even though, conduct an experiment to explain, show some scientific experiments in there. So I take from another NGSS-based learning module, which is water quality. Apart from the one, health in our hand, that we will study together. This one, water quality, is another learning module that we will focus later in this PD. So you can see that this learning performance, have shifted. As you can see, we can see core disciplinary idea, which is pretty much similar, which is about pH of everyday substances, everyday products, pH, and human activities, affect pH. Apart from this disciplinary core idea, what about scientific and engineering practices? As you can see here, plan and carry out investigation to test, construct scientific explanation to explain, collect and analyze pH data to explore. And not only disciplinary core concept, not only scientific practices, but this one also involves cross-cutting concept. As you can see, quantities here negatively impact, which implies cause and effect. How X could affect Y. Again, this is cause and effect. And the last one, X may impact Y. Again, cause and effect. So this is the first step for us to start when we are planning learning performance or learning goals in the classroom. Okay, just before we leave today, I would like to end my introduction of three-dimensional learning by asking you to type, few final thoughts about key features or elements that you think can bring into classroom in order to facilitate three-dimensional learning. And we are going to explore this in the afternoon session, right? If we agree that we want to change the vehicle, change the mean in order to reach, the higher goal, what essential elements that we need in order to facilitate our student? So let me spend my final minutes here to get your idea. What elements do you think are essential? So I will pause for 30 seconds to wait for your contribution, and I will show the final slide that I have. while typing, I will just remind what I have been talking about. So we learned that we would like to help our students improve their skills necessary for the 21st century. And one of the ways in order to help them improve that is to change the learning goals, because changing the learning goals will lead to the transformation of the means or the learning activities in the class. And one of the ways to do that is to transform from 1 or 2-dimensional learning, having only the content, to 3-dimensional learning, having core disciplinary idea, scientific practices, as well as cross-cutting concepts in there. Thank you very much, Joe. Have students do science using, yes, 3-dimensional learning, as simple as that to talk about, but not quite in practice. So let me end my final slide by talking about key elements that we will dig deeper in this PD. The first one, as Joe has mentioned, it is important to develop performance-driven learning goal, integrating the disciplinary core ideas, practices, cross-cutting concepts. But further than that, we need to take into consideration the real-world phenomena in the classroom to make learning more meaningful to them, using driving questions for students to get their head around and plan ways to find explanation. Use practices, of course, use artifact development through CER. We have been talking about CER in this PD, right? And you will get to know more. And of course, to use student collaboration through project-based learning. And we will introduce you in this PD as well, learning technology that is help facilitating student drawing conceptual model through Sage Modeler. And the last one, we will see the key of, to build understanding across time, that is to have, coherence of learning units. So these are the things that we are going to do in this PD, right? Just before you leave from this meeting, just 3 things for you to think about. Nothing to do actually, but final message for the participant, for them to reconsider what we have been talking about, the shift of learning goals. What does it mean by 3-dimensional learning? And what essential elements that are important for facilitating 3-dimensional learning. Thank you very much.
That was very nicely done. Thank you very much. I thought you did a really clear articulation of 3-dimensional learning. I have some other ideas I want to share with you, but I thought we have 5 minutes for the group to discuss, so I thought I would ask them to see if anybody has any comments before I proceed.
Yes, thank you very much. Cross-cutting concept is, the idea and learning science. It helps learners and teachers understand phenomena. I completely agree. Thanks for that.
Let's have one comment for Jack. Who can verbalize one concept? Okay, well, I'll share what starting another idea that I thought was really important, because it links back to a point that was made yesterday.
Right.
And that is why I thought I really liked how you gave a rationale for why it's important for changing, right? So you went into the PISA data and you showed how what's happening in Thailand in the last couple of years, scores are dropping. You're always below average, but now you're even getting lower, right? So you built a really nice case to say, hey, folks, we got to wake up, right? We have to do something with our education to really support our students. Otherwise, Thailand's going to be in trouble. So I really liked how you try to set a need, right? You both set a need and you set a rationale for why it's important to switch over from just knowing to knowing and doing, using the 3 dimensions. So I really found that a very powerful part of your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Other comments?
Right.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
maybe I
Kat.
can, yeah, maybe I can share about, like, I think the way that that God tried to distinguish, right, the existing standards and the NGSS, I think especially for teachers, I think create a buy-in that the existing now and the one that they will transform, right, towards. I think create a buy-in of teachers that why they need to change certain practices, right, by distinguish that from the goal that we want to improve teaching and learning for students to have higher learning outcomes, and then using existing one and the one that they are going, because sometimes teachers are very maybe strict to the standards, right? I think the way that you try to introduce that why they need to move towards another direction, I think it's very important. I like the way that you try to shift their mindset. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I also like how you try to involve us by putting us on chat for a little bit. I think that's really important. So, because you got us, it makes us focused, make sure we have to pay attention. And it also has a way of actively engaging us. So, interspersing that lecture with getting us to use chat, I thought was very valuable.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, since there are no other comments, I think we should move on to our next presenters, which in this case will be Dr. Mureen from Indonesia will present. So you're up, Mureen. I'll let you, once again, we'll let you know if you're running on time, but the last one was perfectly timed, but both Buren and I will be keeping time, and we'll let you know if you're running out of time. So we look forward to your presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Joe. So good morning and also good evening, everyone. So today I would like to continue the presentation, the micro-teaching. Let me share the slide first. Okay, so yesterday we learned about the scientific explanation, CRR, and today Jack had introduced us with the three-dimensional learning. So I just want to continue to introduce you about the first unit lesson, water quality, especially the first topic. Okay. Sorry, I think I have to change. I have some problem. Right. Right. So we want to talk about water quality. So first, the topic that we would like to discuss further is how do you know your drinking water is safe? This is the first topic that introduced in water quality unit. But before that, I would like to share first what the purpose or what the learning goals of introducing this topic to you. Okay, so our focus, our learning goals, we hope that after this lesson, you will know about how to teach the first unit on water quality. And then you also will understand how to bring the students to the phenomena, and also teach them how to observe critically, encourage students to express their thoughts and also asking questions, then stimulate students to identify factors or variables to be further test the quality of our drinking water, and then make inquiry question to be further investigated as a research question. So let's go here. I would like to ask you to write down in the chat box. Okay, so first, if we're talking about our drinking water, first, I think some of you will have the drinking water from the tap, or maybe you have to buy the mineral water bottle water and everything. So please just write down in the chat what kind of drinking water you drink every day. Okay, we'll check. Okay, tap water, right? So most of you drink from tap water, Parinda as a bottled water. Okay. Right. So the second question, do you know where your drinking water come from, and are you sure your drinking water is safe? So have you learned about where the water that you drink or from your tap come from? Do you know the process? Okay, please write down the your idea in the chat box again. So, for example, some of you probably drink from the mineral water. So I think, have you ever checked the source or the water source of the industry of mineral water? Okay. Yeah, some of us as IGA probably do not think much about the water because it's just a daily consumption, daily products that we consume every day. So we do not think a lot about that things. Thank you very much for your comments. Okay, tap water is from the groundwater. Okay, but it's unhealthy. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, Joe, we have to get it checked annually because a company polluted the groundwater with dioxin. Okay, so Joe already know that there are some problems in our drinking water. Even we consume every day from our tap water, or maybe we also have to think about the mineral water that we consume from the bottle we buy every day. Is it safe or not? Okay. So why do we need to know about the quality of our drinking water? So this is the purpose of our learning today. Why we have to know, or why we have to learn about our drinking, the quality of our drinking water. Okay, again, could you please write down your comment in the chat before I show you the video? Yeah, one of the reasons, because we know that water, our body is consists of 64% of water, then it means that water that we drink is truly impact our health. Okay. Any other comments? Basic need of the body. Okay. Yeah, as I mentioned before, that water is very important. We able to we able to survive if we do not eat something, but we are not able to survive if we do not drink. So that's very important, the function or the impact of the water in our body. Okay, let's move to show this video. I have to check first. Can you see the video or you still see the slide, PPT slide?
We saw the video, now we're back on the slide.
Okay, so I have to close first the PPT. Then let's show the video. Oh, I hope that there are no problem with the internet connection. Okay.
In a new report that
you
affects
see the video
everyone, the
and
World Health
clearly hear the
Organization has
voice
called
of
dramatic
the reporter?
improvement
Yes.
in ensuring
Yeah,
access
okay.
to clean water and sanitation worldwide. The WHO has in fact warned that nearly 2 billion people across the globe currently use fecal contaminated water.
Myrni, while you're trying to play the video,
2015, the
turn
UN
off the
General
screen.
Assembly
Yeah.
adopted Sustainable
Sorry,
Development
because of
Goals,
the
a
connection.
series of aspirational targets, including vowing to ensure universal access to safe and affordable water and sanitation by the year 2030. However, according to a fresh report published by UN Water on the WHO's behalf, many countries will fall far short of this goal if they don't radically increase their investments. In fact, 80% of countries have acknowledged that their financing is still not enough to meet their nationally set targets. The WHO says hundreds of thousands of people die every year because they drink contaminated water. Drinking water contaminated with feces puts people at the risk of contracting cholera, dysentery, typhoid and polio. It's also estimated to cause more than 500,000 diarrheal deaths each year. Contaminated water has also been identified as a major factor in several neglected tropical diseases, including intestinal worms and trachoma.
Okay. So, what are the video talk about? What the information that you get from the video? Okay. I hope that the video quite clear. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. So, oh, thank you, Joe. Many people don't have access to clean water. Okay. So the report just reporting about how dangerous or how far the impact of contaminated water. Many, about 80% of the people surrounding the world or in some of the countries do not have access to clean water. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's continue because we are running off the time. So after watching the video or after seeing the video, we know that the importance to concern about the water problem and also to pay attention or to teach the students to understand why we need to learn about the quality of our drinking water. Okay, so let's check but how we check the quality of the water, how we run the experiment. For example, if I show you these two glasses, A and B, yeah, which water or which glasses that you think safe to drink? Can you give an explanation which glasses or which water is safe for drinking? Again, put your comment in the chat. By looking the photo or the pictures or the image of two glasses, can you just mention or choose which one will you drink? Yes, we can predict that one should be drinkable, but another one is not. But can you decide which one, A or B? Okay. Right. It seems the same. Yeah. Clean. The clean water. Okay. B a little cloudy. Maybe A. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So if we look at to the condition of the water, we can say that these both of water is drinkable. Okay. But the A is come from the bottle mineral water, but the B one is come from the tap water. In Indonesia, I just take it this water in the morning. In Indonesia, we cannot drink from the tap water because it's unhealthy. So we always buy the mineral water from the company to have our daily drinking water. Right. Then if we want to check which one is safe, what should we do? What the test that we have to run? pH, okay. Right, pH. A test kit to check the bacteria, okay. Yeah, so pH is one of the factors or one of the aspects that we can take, but if we want to know how should we test our water, we have to learn from our scientists or we have to learn from our expert. So let's move to the next video to learn about how to check or what kind of aspect that we have to check if we want to know the safety, if we want to confirm the safety of our drinking water. Now, can you see my video screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Mirni,
So
turn off your video. It might play fast. Turn off your video when you're trying to play this video. It might work better.
Okay. So I will send the link in the chat box. I have to stop share first. Sorry, because of the problem of internet here, so it's not going too smooth. So the video is about the expert in one of
professional email from GoDaddy. 97% of GoDaddy email customers agree
in one of the
laboratories, professional. Get a domain with a matching email address.
Explain about the
Get your professional email at godaddy.com.
Great.
Get professional email from GoDaddy. 97% of GoDaddy email customers agree that GoDaddy professional email helps them look more professional. Get a domain with a matching email address and earn your client's trust. Get your professional email at godaddy.com.
So I have shared the link of the video. Sorry for the inconveniences.
Hi, I'm Jude Cobbing from ProWash. We took some water samples yesterday, and we're here today to see what happens when they're analysed in the lab. Hi, Aaron. I'm Jude Cobbing. We took some water samples yesterday, and we've kept them cool, just like you instructed. But I was wondering, would you be able to show us around your lab a bit and explain some of the procedures?
Sure, I'd be happy to, Jude. And welcome to our water quality lab. I'm Erin Ling. I'm an Extension Associate and Program Coordinator for the Virginia Household Water Quality Program here in the Biological Systems Engineering Department at Virginia Tech. This is one of our water quality labs at the university, and I'd be happy to show you some of the equipment and the methods that we use to process drinking water samples in our lab. Thanks, Jude, for bringing the samples and the bottles we provided and keeping them cool in a cooler box. I'll explain more about why this is important as we go. This is actually the first area I wanted to show you. It's where we receive samples. When a lab takes custody of a new sample, we make sure that it's in good condition and the proper temperature and volume. My colleague Asa Spiller is receiving the samples into our system. Labeling systems can vary from lab to lab. It's important to use the sample bottles and labels provided so that samples don't get mixed up. This is the first stop when we analyze samples in our lab. We use a method called ColAlert. And when we're handling microbiological samples, it's really important that we wear gloves and that we're very careful to avoid cross-contaminating any of the samples. So with this method, we collect the water in the container provided. We want to work with about 100 milliliters of water. We're adding the media substrate, which is part of the ColAlert package. It's basically bacteria food and includes some extra nutrient indicators that will allow us to know if either total coliform or E. coli bacteria are present. So after we've added the substrate, we shake the bottle, we let it sit for a little bit to actually allow everything to dissolve. And then we're going to pour the contents of the bottle carefully into one of these trays, which is called a Quanta tray. We send this tray through the sealer, allowing it to heat seal the back of the tray and keeping the water in each of these little cells. Following that part of the step, we actually put it into an incubator and it stays there for 24 hours at 35 degrees Celsius. And then we read the samples after those 24 hours. These are some samples that we analyzed earlier this week using the ColAlert method that are drinking water samples from Virginia. So you can see the range of presence. The bacteria make themselves known by showing up as yellow if total coliform positive. This first tray is showing basically no bacteria present because there are no yellow cells, which is what we want to see in drinking water. You can see the cells that are yellow in these two samples are positive for total coliform bacteria. And if we hold these trays under a UV or at ultraviolet light, it will show the presence of E. coli in the cells that glow. This allows us to calculate a statistical estimation of the number of bacteria in the sample per 100 milliliters of water and report that back to the client. We use the ColAlert method in our lab, but other labs may use different methods based on cost, regulatory needs, or equipment available. Now we're in another area of the lab. This is our Metrome ion chromatograph, which we use to analyze for anions that are dissolved in the drinking water samples that we process. In our case, nitrate and fluoride.
Okay, I hope that you still look at the video, because my video cannot continue. I cannot continue to show you the video, but based on that video, we learn about what the expert use, or how the expert run the test to test the quality of water. Okay, so the first show is how to test the bacteria, the content of or the bacteria in our drinking water, and the other is to check the chemical compound, and after that checking about the pH. So there are some part of the laboratory showing how to do water quality test. Based on that video, please write down what are the variables that we able to test in our school laboratory. There are many variables that we show. Actually, I ask you to write down the variables that you show in the video here, what the items or what the aspect or what the variables that expert we are able to do as our experiment in our school. Could you please just write down which part or which test that you are able to do? Okay, pH level, turbidity, right? Some chemical components, okay, it's also possible if our laboratory provide the tools, or maybe we also able to ask the students to think about how to design the experiment, to do free inquiry, right? Okay, thank you very much for the comment. Then if we want to do research, for example, just choose one of the aspect or one of the variable that you choose, or you write down in the chat box what the research question that you want to ask or you want to further investigate. For example, pH, what kind of research question that you want to investigate further? How do you prove that pH or a different drinking water have different pH? Okay. Still, you may put the research question in the chat box. So if you write down the research question, it means what elements or what aspect that you have to write down, you have to put in the research question. Okay, Joe, does the pH of our drinking water change throughout the day? Okay, does it change during the week? Yeah, using different sample or different. Okay, so research question, because we have to put it as a question, not as a statement. Then the important thing that we have to put variables there, the relation between the independent variables, what impact, and what other factors work. Okay. Does clear water mean safe to drink? Okay. It means, Irfan, it means you want to check about the turbidity, right?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, thank you. Does the pH of water is the same if the source of water are different? Thank you. That's also good. Right. So we have to write down the research question. And for the next session, we will design our experiment to test the quality of our drinking water, conduct the experiment, do as scientists do to test the quality of water. And then we also want to introduce you with the SAGE modeler to make a modeling of water quality. So that's our next session. So that's the end of the question, the end of my micro teaching. The last part, I would like to invite you to think about what do you think about the key elements of teaching science as you follow my micro teaching, and what do you think the students will get or learn, and which part, the most difficult part during introducing or during teach the student about this unit lesson or this topic, and do you have any idea or thought to make the lesson better? So that's the last part. If you wanna put your reflection, just write down in the comments. Thank you very much.
Not very nicely done and timed very nicely. You finished just right on cue. So nicely done. Very coherent presentation. You can't help that the internet doesn't work. That's not your problem. So except for the little internet glitches, I thought you did a very nice, coherent presentation throughout. Certainly focusing on a very important topic. How do we know if our water is clean? You know, just like the example that you showed, right? That you can have two glasses of water. They can both look exactly the same. One is good water, one can be very bad, right? You can't just tell by looking at it. Really sets a need for knowing how to test various water quality samples. So I have a couple other comments I would like to make, but I'm gonna first see if other people have comments they would like to present to you based upon the questions you raised. Yeah, I actually agree with Agama. I thought your slides were very nicely done, incorporating some of your cultural aspects in it. So I certainly agree with that comment. Would anybody like to verbally share a comment?
Joe, can I just have one question for Dr.
Sure.
Murthy? Yeah, well done presentation. Just wondering, I mean, if you target the student in the lower secondary level to do experiment, I think because like in some schools, they don't have many equipment. So what you suggest, what can the teachers do to ask the student to make a simple experiment about the water quality?
Yeah. Okay. So I think each teacher have to check first the equipment or the facilities that provided in the school or in the laboratory. Then decide which part that students are able to do as an experiment. For example, I think pH is quite easy to do, and then checking about the bacteria. We have microscope in our in each school, so they just check the what is it, the sample of water, and find that there are some organism inside. Actually, probably they cannot distinguish between bacteria or other organism, but I think they can just check that our water is truly clean, or there are some organism or some things inside the water. So that's the second experiment that they can do. The third one is they are also able to go to the do observation in the real stream or river, taking the sample of water in different location, and then check about the turbidity of the water. Or the turbidity is also need the tools, but we are able to check easily without the equipment, or without the tools. So that's part of checking the facilities that will support our experiments. But the important things that students have to have the data, and the data is should come from their own measurement. As of course, we also able to show them the data to learn about how the variables works, but students have to do such as scientists run the experiment, or to collect data to prove some phenomena. So that's why I think the teachers have to try to do some experiments, relevant experiments.
Very well done. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you very much, Miri. I have one other last comment, and then we'll need to go and see Irfan presentation. What I really liked how you set a need for studying water quality, particularly that you tried to show that it's not only a local problem, which is very important, but it can also be a very global problem. So you try to set a need for why are we going to study water quality, and of course, setting that need is really critical. If we want our teachers to learn, or if we want our students to learn, they really have to see the value in what they're studying. So I thought you did overall. I really thought you did a really nice job. I thought both you and Jack did a really nice job on your PowerPoints. Right? You certainly have far more artistic ability than mine, which tend to be very plain. So I thought that was very, very nicely done, and I'm sure your teachers are going to really appreciate your presentation. So let's go on to our next.
Thank you, Prof.
Our next very, very nicely done. Let's go on to our next presentation. I believe this one is from. Again, I can't say your name. Irfan?
Yes, Irfan.
Irfan.
Yeah.
So Irfan is now going to present. Please present, Irfan.
Okay.
The stage is yours.
Thank you. So can you see the screen now?
We can.
Awesome. Right. So good evening, everyone. Good morning, Joe. And today I'm gonna be presenting for this micro teaching session in the health in our hands learning unit with the particular topic in diabetes. And the reason is because we understand that diabetes is one of the non-communicable diseases, which the cases are increasing more and more every year, including in Indonesia. And what is also making this particular disease more important to learn is that the case of diabetes in children is also increasing. So we have set up some activities in our PD plan regarding this particular topic. And so initially, maybe I just have to share a bit about our PD plan. So there will be two stages of the workshop activities. The first one is the training for trainer, for the lecturer. And then the second one is for the pre and in-service teachers. So because of the time constraints, of course, this evening I will be presenting about our activities for the TOT, or training for trainer, for the lecturers. So initially we have many learning goals. I mean, about 8 or 9 learning goals, but we then try to make it more compact. So we put 6 learning goals for the training for the trainer. The first one is to understand how to implement the 3-dimensional concepts in Health in Our Hands learning unit. And we are so glad that Kak in the first session has already described thoroughly about the 3-dimensional concept. So that would be the initial knowledge that needs to be shared to the participants of this of this training. And then the second one is to design the project-based learning by using real and contextual phenomena, which is the diabetes case in Indonesia. And following the second goals is to develop the learning materials, which include the students' worksheet, learning media, based on the previously designed activities. And then we will be developing instruments to assess the students' performance in the learning activities and to conduct micro-teaching for at least 1 unit lesson with the pre-service teachers. And finally, we will be conducting a reflection on how the teacher teaches in the class. So in this session, we will be focusing on the first learning goals, which is to understand how to implement the 3-dimensional concepts in Health in Our Hands learning unit. There will be 3 sub-learning goals, which is to introduce how diabetes is a serious health problem, almost in every country. And also, we need to highlight the internal and external factors which contribute to these diseases. And secondly, to explain the core ideas, course-cutting concept, and also scientific and engineering practices in 3D learning. And we will be asking the participants to create driving questions based on the contextualized phenomena. So to begin with, we have the pretest here. So I need to ask you to go to the following link, which I think I will share this to the chat box. So this is just the initial to explore the initial knowledge of the participant. Right, so everyone can click the link and fill out the questionnaire.
Oh, we need permission.
Oh, sorry. Otherwise, what I can do is I have put the screenshot of the pretest here actually. So I put the number 1, 2, 3 up to 5, and then you can write down in the chat box what question would you like to answer. Number 1 to just please write down the number and the answer. You can give short answer or medium, but please not too long answer. Thank you. I think we can spend like 1 or 2 minutes for this. Right, so I hope you can see in the screen. So you can answer which question. Awesome, I can see the answer. Number 1, high level of glucose in the blood. Yeah, for sure. What we eat can have impact, well, especially related to the age. Awesome. Factors to contribute diabetic: too much sugar, less physical activities, not enough sleep. Awesome. Great. Diabetes is a genetic issue. All right. Diabetes is a disease involving high sugar level in the blood. Awesome. Right. So yeah, I think like anybody would like to answer question number 3 or 4, maybe. Yeah. Please mention local phenomena related to diabetes. It could be diabetes prevalence in your country, in your hometown. Yep, I can see one answer. One of the factors, unhealthy lifestyle. Good. Awesome. Eating habits, lifestyle. So obesity, yeah, I can see the answer. Lack of physical activity, age, and of course genetic. All right. So okay, we can. All right, we can continue to our slides here. Right. Now, after filling out the pre-test, I would like the participant to see some videos. I have put down the link here. I think it's better if I put down the link in the chat box. So this is, I think, less than 3 minutes. So I think it's quite brief to see how serious the diabetes is.
We cannot hear it.
Sorry, you can't hear the
I can't. I don't know if anybody else can. At least not from your screen. I guess I could download it.
Okay, maybe you can click the link in the chat box. So it's 1 minute 39 seconds of video. All right. I hope you already finished watching the video. All right. So before moving on to the next questions, so I would like you. So this was the first video highlighting how serious the diabetes is to our health, and then this is the second one is the local contextual phenomena in Indonesia regarding the diabetes. And this is quite a long video, so I'm asking you to please watch until around the first 2 minutes and 30 or 40 seconds. So the main information will be provided in the first 2 minutes and 40 seconds of this video. So I would be putting the next link in the chat box. Sorry, I think I have some issue with the internet connection. It doesn't play smoothly as well in my laptop. So I guess it's better to put the link here. But I'll try to play the video anyway through the Zoom.
Sugar, our diets, and all the warnings about how too much of it is really bad for us. The WHO says making us pay more for things like sugary drinks can encourage us to consume less. A growing number of countries are starting that advice. The latest Indonesia. Now, it's proposing to impose a 20% excise tax on all packaged sweetened beverages. Now, the government of Jakarta hopes that this will make a real dent in the growing problem of obesity and diabetes.
Sugar. But it has also become an integral part of living in Indonesia. It's a common sight to see people adding sugar to food and beverages that are naturally sweet. Like many here, Noviandrini used to have a sweet tooth. But that changed recently after the 50-year-old found out that she was on the verge of getting diabetes. It's quite difficult to find sugar-free food for diabetics here, but my daughter has found a place.
Sorry, I don't think I can play the video anymore. It stops. And I hope you already finished watching the video. So basically the video tells us about the Indonesian government, which considered for the sugar tax to tackle diabetes. That means the government has realized the sugar, which contains in many foods or drinks, has been one of the primary source for the increasing diabetes cases. So I saw one comment. I think junk food. Yeah. That's a good point. So junk food and also one of the causes. I mean, the sugar content in the junk food is also quite high. All right. So before moving on the next question, we will be explaining about the 3D learning, but just to put the a brief explanation, we have provided a short video, only less than 3 minutes here. So again, I will put in the link, and at the same time, I will be playing the video in the Zoom. So hopefully you can watch this as well.
The aim of 3D science is to change science teaching as we know it. to reflect how science is practiced in the real world by scientists and engineers, making science lessons more approachable, more engaging, and more reflective of the world students see around them. Instead of focusing on rote memorization, 3D science develops important skills such as research, communication, and analytical thinking. While content knowledge is still a big part of what students learn, 3D science is about teaching students how to engage with new knowledge, answer questions, solve problems, and make connections between the scientific disciplines.
I like this one because it saves 3,000 gallons, but it doesn't cost.
As well as relating science to the real world. At the heart of 3D science are 3 dimensions of science learning: science and engineering practices, cross-cutting concepts, and disciplinary core ideas. With students at the center of 3D learning, SEPs can be thought of as what students do, CCCs as how students think, and DCIs as what students know. Every standard, also called a performance expectation, is supported by 3 dimensions. Science and engineering practices highlight methods that scientists and engineers actually use as part of their work, such as modeling, developing explanations, and engaging in critique and evaluation. Cross-cutting concepts are ideas that appear across several areas of STEM. They include concepts such as cause and effect, energy and matter, and stability and change. Disciplinary core ideas cover what we might also call content knowledge. They include key concepts in life sciences, earth and space sciences, physical sciences, and engineering and technology. Together, the 3 dimensions create opportunities for learning how to think and act like scientists and engineers while covering necessary content knowledge. 3-dimensional learning helps maximize student engagement and improve learning outcomes, giving students the skills and conceptual frameworks they'll need for a lifetime of investigation.
All right, that's good. I hope you already finished watching the videos as well. Right, so now we are moving on to the creating driving questions based on the contextualized phenomena regarding the diabetes. So again, please write down in the chat box, otherwise I can share this one. So right, I'll put this in the chat box. I will open this up. So can anybody, yeah, click the link. Right, you can start writing down. So I hope that there will be a representative from Thailand, Malaysia, from my fellow Indonesian as well, Kazakhstan, Cambodia, and of course, Joe from USA. You can start writing what are the driving questions you can raise.
So I can't get into the link for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Hang on,
never mind. I'll try it another way.
Yeah, I have already opened anyone with the link. No sign in required. Can I just put down the link one more time? Can anybody open the link?
Yeah, we can't open the link. I can't open it. I tried several different ways.
Okay. So hopefully you can also fill up the table here. Awesome, I can see. All right, from Malaysia, what are the risk factors? All right.
Oh. If you copy it and put it in your, if you copy it and put it in your your browser, it will work.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. You can just copy the link and put in the browser. All right. So you can just make the font, increase the font size a little bit so we can all see your answers. Right. So how can we improve early detection, prevention, and management of the diabetes in Indonesia to reduce adverse impact? And then how can we detect risk group also? What can I do to ensure that children don't develop diabetes as they grow older? What are the potential complications of diabetes? Right? What are the early signs of diabetes? How can we avoid getting into diabetes? Awesome. Right? How can I help others to know that eating junk food is bad for your overall health? All right, I can see interesting answer. All right, this one related to exercise. Regular exercise will help to avoid diabetes. All right, can we have lower risk of diabetes if we change the behavior? In 5 years from now, what happened? It's still regular exercise help avoid diabetes. It's good. All right, so basically what you have just write down in the table shows what driving questions we could ask. So this will serve as the basic information that we would like our student to start thinking critically, to start thinking what kind of evidence they have to provide to answer these questions. Right. So basically in this training, of course, in the real training, we will ask the participants to get into CER. So starting from the claim, they can make any kinds of a claim, and then they will provide the evidence. For example, I maybe just one or two example here. How about the effect of exercise? How about the effect if we change behavior? How about the effect of eating junk food? So that would be the effect of the environment. So by providing evidence, then we can ask the student to think scientifically, so they can put the reasoning how we can avoid diabetes by changing the behavior, by changing the way we eat our food or the way we limit our sugar consumption daily. Awesome. So thank you very much for all your answers here. And just to wrap up, I know I'm running out of time here. Sorry. So yeah, this is just some of the example of the driving question. With regard to the child's cases in Indonesia, which is increasing. So how does diabetes affect child's health, which refers to the health condition? And then the genetic, of course, we know that the type 1 diabetes is more the genetic aspect and from the family as well. And how do environment, lifestyle that you also raised in your driving questions can affect the diabetes, can trigger diabetes in child. And maybe we can also ask something like, what can we do to prevent and treat the diabetes for the management of the diabetes when it already happens in the patient? Okay, so we will end the training with the post-test, but of course, we are running out of time here, but at least we can ask the participant. So after they watch the videos, what are the driving question they can ask, which they have put in the table. And then we will ask something like the why genetic traits can affect the child predisposition to diabetes. So again, in the next session, we will ask the participant to use the CER, as well as the following question: what factors can be controlled and what cannot be controlled? This will refer to the genetic traits and also the behavioral or the lifestyle that can be controlled. So again, we will ask the participant with the CER. And finally, what concepts in science? So this is to show the cross-cutting concept they can they can implement when we are exploring the diabetes in the Health in Our Hands learning unit. So after the post-test, after the this will be the closing session for the first session of our TOT, and then we will be moving on the next session with the next learning goals. So I think that would be all for my presentation today. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Irfan, for your presentation. I really found it valuable how you tried to engage us throughout your entire presentation about why diabetes is important to learn, and at the end writing our own driving question. So a very nice job in getting us engaged in the Health in Our Hands, the diabetes unit. Very nice. I wonder if there are some comments or question for Irfan. Otherwise, I have a couple of specific questions I'd like to, couple of comments I would mention, and then I have a closing comment I want to make, and then maybe Kesra Buren has a closing comment. So we'll have to see. But first, let's give some comments to Irfan. Comments? There's a comment in the chat. Good sharing. I like your approach.
Yeah,
Well, I
like the video. Yeah,
Thank you.
I think the video, yeah. I think when you talk about the practice, right? I think it yeah, the because the video was well select and well made, right? I think introducing it at the beginning will help teacher understand those practices and the phenomenon, and that's why they need to introduce these practices to the classroom. You know, I think it was a great video. Yeah, that you introduced. Thank you.
Yeah, I like the videos too. I don't know. I looked really quickly to see if I could figure out how to do this, and I couldn't figure it out. Maybe someone knows. But sometimes if we're on the internet, it might make more sense to put the videos on our hard drives locally and play them locally rather than the internet. Because we're both because we saw there was, you know, little issues with videos in a number of the presentations. But again, I don't know how to do that. I don't even know if it's possible. If you can, I think it makes more sense to play the video locally.
Yeah, thanks for the suggestion. Yeah, maybe we can just download it first. Sorry, I didn't do that.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it until just now, by the way. So I never even thought about downloading the video. So, but just a thought to try to help everybody. Nora says she really likes how you try to get the participants involved in all the local through local culture aspects. YouTube downloader. I never okay, so I can look for YouTube downloader. I've not tried that, Nora, so I have to try that.
I know the way how to download the video from YouTube as well.
Great. Well, I'll write either you or Nora, and you can maybe you can write a little description of how to do it for us, so we know how to do it. I'm going to pay attention to time, and let me just make a couple of quick closing comments, and I'll pass it on to Kesra. I really enjoyed and found it very valuable listening to your presentations yesterday and today and last week as well, right? Your lesson plan, your overall professional learning plans. As I said, in talking, those are artifacts, right? Your presentations today is an artifact that shows what you've learned and last week. These presentations show what you learned and what you've incorporated. And you know, as one of the main presenters here, I really felt that I saw some really interesting things. I mean, just certainly the idea, a number of the presentations really stressed the importance of how you have to help people develop a need to know if they're really going to engage, right? We saw that over and over again. So I really, showing the importance of why we're going to learn this, providing that rationale is really critical. I was also really pleased to see a number of you really talk about the importance of engaging kids in various scientific practices, particularly claim, evidence, and reasoning. Certainly in our day and age, having kids understand that when people make claims, they have to have sufficient evidence and appropriate evidence behind it to use it to make that claim and support that and be able to use scientific reasoning to show why that data is actually evidence. So that's a really important aspect. I really like the presentations and the discussions on the importance of using the 3 dimensions of scientific knowledge if we're really going to get children to develop knowledge and use. I was pleased to see the discussion that Irfan had on the use of driving questions and how we can engage kids on driving questions. So from my perspective, these presentations really show that you are beginning to incorporate a lot of the ideas that we're talking about, right? You know, the first step forward in us trying to bring about change in our countries to really support our students in learning is us being able to incorporate the language ourselves and be able to talk about it. So I was very, very pleased. You know, it's been a long 3 months. I don't know how long we've been doing this. Anyways, getting up, you guys staying up late each night. The Kazakhstan people have it easy because it's an hour earlier for them. That's a joke. But anyways, it's been tough, right? It's been a long haul, but I think you've really demonstrated in these final few days what you've learned and the importance of trying to promote these new forms of teaching and learning in our nations. It's not going to be easy, but it's a step forward, right? I get pleased when I see all the young people around, because you're the ones who are going to be able to spread this forward, right? As we go forward. So I'm very, very pleased where we are right now, and I look forward to learning more about your accomplishments. So I'm going to pass this on to Kesra and to wrap us up.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Yeah. I think this is the I think chapter 1 of many more chapters to come, and chapter 1 of our journey together. And I would like to say we are grateful to you, Joe, and Anne, and Consuelo, for your dedication. I know it's very hard that you have to wake up early in the morning and then be with us and then run to another meetings, right? And then, but we have been together for 30 sessions, and this is just only the start. You will, we will see each other to reflect on what we will be doing, right? And I also would like to thank everyone in the group for your spirit, your professional spirit, to step up and deliver the task. As Joe aside, I know it's hard to do it online, right? But because of your spirit, that you want to demonstrate that what you have learned, and the spirit of sharing, I think we are establishing a community of practice. We share the same language, right? CER modeling, 3D learning, that's how professional speak the same language. And I think that we will learn more from each other. This is just only the beginning, and see that how valuable that we being able to learn from others about what we are going to do, and we can improve by learning, or maybe taking some of the materials that other groups have created, right? Or we adopt them. I think this is a way that we can share our knowledge and skills and experience, and our ideas together to improve our work together. And I think the passion to share in this community of practice, I think it will be a starting point that we will establish relationships that we can support each other. As our founder, the former previous minister said in establishing our regional center, we learn and grow together, because there's still more room for our children and young people and teachers to grow, right? So I believe that this is the beginning of the journey that we will take together. And I highly appreciate your professional spirit by taking the sessions for the past 30 sessions multiplied by 2 hours together, and many more to come that we will share, and then we will, I think, appreciate that and look back that, because we work hard for our teachers and young people. Thank you so much.
There was a suggestion that we turn on our cameras and someone take a picture.
Yes.
So why don't we all turn on our cameras?
Yes. And then we can,
if someone could take a
photos.
snapshot.
Maybe Burin can help take photos together.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
someone send it to us. So if everybody could just turn on their cameras real quick, just for a minute.
Yeah, please.
And then Buren, can you take a snapshot?
Yeah, I will count.
Everybody's
Okay.
combing their hair.
It's sad,
Yeah. And
Okay, get ready.
yeah. Smile.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more.
And
1, 2,
yeah, 1, 2,
3.
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. I miss anyone. Okay, one more, please. Okay.
One more.
1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, and we will get back to you
Right,
about the next.
I don't want to end on a sad note, but I think we should all try to remember Tom Corcoran, who this grant was possible from, and who unfortunately died
Fast,
in the
last
process.
year.
So all this would not have been possible without Tom's contributions. And he was an amazing science educator. He's a good friend, a good science educator, and I still miss him, you know, so I'm sure Kessler misses him more. So
Yes.
just give a thought to Tom and all that Tom has done throughout his lifetime to support science education and actually made this possible in many ways. So
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing more. And again, I didn't mean to end on a sad note, but I think it's important to reflect back and remember the ones we loved and the people who impacted us.
Yeah, and he helped develop the proposal to Chevron for this project. So I think if he knows that how much progress we have made, I think he would have been very proud. Yeah, for all of us. So we will keep you posted and we will set another session, but not as frequently as the past several months, right? So, and we will get back to everyone about our next reflection sessions that we will reunite and update to Joe and update to each other. Okay. It has.
I hope someday I can see you guys in person again and eat some of your wonderful food and some of your wonderful cultures that I always enjoy so much.
Yeah, and we will invite the group to reunite at some point of time, but online for sure, for the next month or several months. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for Joe's contribution and everyone's contribution.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Goodbye, Joe.
Bye.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
It's so sad.
Hi,
We will
Gail.
reunite. We will reconvene.
Yes, it is sad, but I get to get a little bit more sleep.
Okay.
And the Malaysian team, now it's quite late, right? We appreciate your participation. Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye
you.
for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Gail.
Bye. Bye. Bye.